America? It's me, professional hand model, Amy Schumer. But I'm not here to show you my perfect hands, even though they are perfect, and a lot of people like them. And I'm not here to tell you to vote. Whether you're a cool, good citizen or a steamy dump, it's totally 100% your call. But I am here to tell you something important that everyone has a right to know, but doesn't. Here it comes. You ready? People are going to know if you voted or not.
People are going to know if you voted or not.
Your voting history is public record.
Public record. Public record.
It doesn't say who you voted for, but it says if you voted at all. Anyone who knows you can just look that shit up. You gotta actually go out and vote and not just pretend like you did at dinner parties. Your decision to vote or not is obviously up to you, but judging you for that decision could be up to the internet. And everyone has access to that. Even our parents. Even our parents. Even our parents. Even our parents. Hey, so did you get a chance to vote? Of course, I care about this country. Oh, really? Because I looked it up and you didn't vote. I'm a steamy dump. I'm a steamy dump. I'm a steamy dump. I hope that people don't blame you if an orange sexually assaulting Godzilla who started a fake college is fucking up the entire planet a year or so from now. That would be a bummer, right? Okay, so I guess I am actually here to tell you to vote. Or at least cover your own ass so that you don't seem like a steamy dump. I'm a steamy dump. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for you, baby. Who do you want to vote for? I'm still undecided. Hillary! 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 Vote for Hillary. Vote for Hillary. Vote for Hillary. Vote for Hillary. Vote for Hillary.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. And I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats. And they're coming to take me away, ha-ha.
All right, what I wanted to do was I wanted to go all over the map here to talk about this stuff. I really feel like right now what's happening is people are extremely depressed. I think they're very upset.
Are.
I don't know. Well, the thing is, it's Super Bowl. It's been Super Bowl Sunday every day for the press since Trump, I guess, entered the election.
Yeah,
and because I feel he hasn't spent the kind of money Hillary has, and Hillary has been really trying to really just spend as much, because that's really all it's about. That's all it comes down to is the spending of the money.
Well, for the media, it certainly does. The media
they control it.
They make a ton of money off this process, and that's why it's such an incestuous process. And Trump comes from outside that, and he doesn't play by their rules. And man, do they hate it! You see how much money the media complex has lost from Trump not putting in the same amount of money.
From Trump, not. But I did see an interview with the guy who ran CBS, Les Moonves, I think his name. And he was talking about how this is like a big sporting event that just goes on forever, and commercial money it just gets bigger and bigger, and it's going to be over very soon.
Yeah,
we're talking about maybe 2 days. I'm going to say 2 days. It's over.
It is,
and all of this ends, and people have to go back to their lives and try to figure out, okay, what could we possibly put on the news now, unless we're going to talk about, people like half of the group out there thinks that Hillary is going to, be sworn in and then taken to jail. She's going to be indicted while wearing her inauguration gown.
Yeah, well, of course that's not going to happen. Neither one of those two things are going to happen. Maybe one without the other. One without the other. Those two things are not going to happen. Well, first of all, I've watched a lot of presidential elections. I've watched a lot of campaigns. I've seen a lot of polls. I've seen a lot of bullshit, and I've been around the block.
We don't need to hear about your personal life.
I'm
here all week. Thank you.
Yeah, but so I'm pretty confident that Trump is going to win this election.
You really? I mean, the thing is, I hear this from both sides. They're confident that Hillary's going to win. They're confident.
Yeah, well,
that
I
Trump's
know,
gonna
but
win.
their confidence is not based on reality. They're not looking at real numbers. They're listening to Nate Silver telling them that it's an 88% chance until like yesterday when it was like a 60% chance instead. They're not really drilling down into the numbers. If they were, they'd be very, very worried. The people who know enough to watch an election know that they're in trouble. They also don't know how to watch a presidential campaign. So you watch where the campaigns go, where they're lighting up advertising, and you can get an idea of how well they're doing.
I can get an idea how desperate one side might be against the other.
The Democrats
that's where the fear and the depression comes in.
They are trying. They have
the Trump people. You're one of the more confident supporters of Trump. The Trump people that I've talked to are scared to death that Hillary's going to be elected. The Hillary people are scared to death that Donald Trump's going to be elected.
Yes, I know,
that's what I'm hearing.
This is 2008 with the shoe on the other foot. They're terrified that Trump is going to be elected, and Trump is going to be elected because nobody could really picture how it's going to look with this criminal being elected.
I can pretty much.
How is that going to look?
Happening. I can see it happening very easily. But first, I wanted to talk. Was Barack Obama the true outsider in Washington D.C. from 2008 to 2016? I think,
of course not.
I don't see him as an insider. I think he's completely on the. I don't think he knows. I don't think he was aware. I was watching. I've been watching a couple of interviews with him lately, and this is what
he hears about shit on the news that his own administration does and shit like that. Like you believe that crap?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his body language. His body language. Okay, Bill Maher interviewed him. Finally got an interview with him. Just as he's on his way out the door, he donated $1 million to his campaign, or to the, I guess, the Democratic CPAC or whatever it was. But it was basically for him. He finally got an interview. Now, this Obama that I saw on television last night is far from the ambitious, the idealistic young junior senator. He looks tired. He looks worn out. He looks like he's been raped repeatedly by this system. And I seriously believe he wanted to end the health insurance companies and the monopoly. This Obamacare, I don't think that's what he wanted. He didn't want the insurance companies making more money than healthcare providers to the tune of 70 cents on the dollar. I don't think he wanted that. I think he wanted something else. He couldn't get it.
If he wanted something other than chaos, he would have managed it instead of outsourcing it to a bunch of corrupt congressmen. If he wanted any say in what happened at all.
I agree, but this is where the inexperience comes in. This is why people sometimes become frightened if someone comes in that you really like, and he was riding an incredible wave of popularity when he was elected. He was a guy, and you told me this not too long ago, that the Clintons, they had no use for. They had no use for him.
That's true.
He's not going to. I mean, right now he's trying to support Hillary. He hates Hillary. He absolutely detests her.
I know he does.
Both him and Michelle. The way they talked about her in 2008. And now, and he's kind of like stuck in this prison rape situation. His hands are tied behind his back.
You know what, though?
He knows that he's not going to get a job in D.C. unless he strokes these people.
Who gives a fuck about Obama and his jobs?
I care. After 8 years, I want to know. Because I had to listen to sycophants tell me all the time about the new Messiah coming into the White House. And I want to know, what has this Messiah done in the last 8 years?
He hasn't done anything, but he's also old news. I mean, he's the past. He's fucking finished. He's done. He's over. He's gone on January 20th. We don't have to look at him
discussion. Again. Now, what do you think? Do you think that there was not only the antipathy between the Clinton camp and the Obama camp, the Clintons being lifelong politicians, career politicians, and then these Obama people who come in, and then I'm going to call it a fan base, who truly believed that there was a new Democratic Party on the way, and now it's being thrown to the side, and Hillary's people are saying, oh, never mind all that. This is the wave of the future. This is what they're playing.
A lot of people were extremely naive, and a lot of those people know it. I mean, I communicate with people every day who voted for Obama either once or twice, and I talk to them all the time, and they're voting for Trump now.
Well,
because
I feel
Trump
terrible.
represents.
I feel terrible for Obama. I really do, because I don't think he
I
is
feel
going
terrible
to be.
for the people who have lived under the policies of Barack Obama. I don't give a shit about Barack
Luckily,
Obama.
I was never a recipient of Obamacare. I never had to deal with any of that. Neither did you.
I'm lucky I don't have to deal with that. As a self-employed person, though,
but your wife
otherwise
has to pay
I
for
most
it,
certainly would have an unaffordable plan that I couldn't afford to use.
Right now, you would have to pay a little over $1,700 a month.
Right, for something with like a $5,000 deductible, so I would never really ever get to use it. And I would have to pay full price for everything at the ridiculous, crazy prices.
But it doesn't matter, because my wife works too. I'm on her insurance. Luckily, I'm on her insurance, and I got onto it before this whole thing started, because otherwise, both of our premiums, yours and mine, would have had to gone up if we had gotten married around this point.
Many people are not as lucky as you and I have been in that regard, and I don't.
We're also unlucky because our wives are paying into Obamacare. Now, what would be so wrong with the idea? I kept telling my mother-in-law this a long time ago, because she was a supporter of it, and I was trying to tell her, you're going to be paying for this, and you're not entitled to it. And she didn't believe me, actually. And I said, what's wrong with expanding Medicare and making it a single-payer system, except for the language? People don't like the words single-payer. That's the reason why it didn't work.
Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with it. First of all, look, it's better than what we got now. That much I'll tell you. But if you're going to do that, in order to do that, you have to clean up the fraud in the system. No matter what, in order to switch over to a single care healthcare payer system, we cannot.
Yes, absolutely.
But look, if you're going to do that anyway, you may as well get rid of the fraud and keep a regular healthcare system, a free market healthcare system, because we don't have that. Not keep a free market healthcare system, make a free market healthcare system where sure, people who can't afford it are helped, but people who can afford it are paying their way with much lower bills. Because what goes on here is 80%, and this is a valid statistic, 80% of the money that we spend on healthcare is completely all down a rabbit hole, all having to do with a bunch of bureaucratic crap and theft and fucking thievery across the board.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a bunch of crap, and all of that shit is illegal with the black letter law that we have now. We don't need anything new passed. We don't need a new healthcare plan. We don't need anything. All we need to do is stop these monopolies, stop this price collusion, stop all of these things that are already illegal under the Sherman Antitrust Act, the Clayton Antitrust Act, all of those, all of these laws that have been on the books for 100 years practically, use those laws to make the system right.
Can I tell you what people have been doing?
What?
They have stayed. A large number of people are doing this, actually. Very smart people, too, by the way. They're staying off the books. They're paying their fine every year. And they're basically, when they require medical care, they're bartering with doctors. And doctors are taking what they're given, because doctors are now spending more time haggling with insurance companies to get even smaller percentages of any kind of money. Health insurance companies are making more money.
Well,
and this is, I think, what the issue is. Take health insurance companies, these paper pushers, out of the equation.
Well,
they're the ones who are driving the prices up.
Too. I think
them and the drug
health insurance.
They're working in collusion with the
ridiculous.
drug companies and making expensive drugs with no competition.
And
that's why.
Make no mistake, the healthcare providers are not innocent. Everybody from the lowest rung nurse all the way up to the president of large corporations has their place in this system, and they all are responsible.
This is why I think Obama really didn't want that. He didn't want to be sitting down with health insurance companies writing this. So I wanted to get into a little bit of the back and forth, the arguments that people like you and me and people we know, a lot of people we love, have been getting into arguments with people on Facebook about this and on social media, Twitter, things like that.
I try and avoid that. Those people.
Oh, come on. You're like the first one to comment. Every time someone says something, they're like,
I've been holding it in.
It's like, this is what I think about Hillary, and this is what I think about Trump. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? basically, I sort of do it too. I kind of get in. I'm like more in the middle on these issues. You're not. And a lot of the people that we know are not. They go back and forth and they argue. And I'm not going to mention names or anything, but we know people
that I've been monitoring. You argue with, because I don't see any point. Like I told you, I think that the issues that she's discussing are well over her head, and she thinks she understands them, and she doesn't.
Are you talking about our mutual acquaintance?
Yes, I am.
Okay, our mutual acquaintance. Yeah, she's very smart, and also she is beginning to get a clue.
I'm not saying she's not smart. She just doesn't understand these issues very well. That's all.
Oh, that's she's your general vote. These are the people voting. These are the people who are going to go out there and
she's
vote.
Not your general voter, though. She'd like to think that
she is. I think that she is looking at Trump and she just doesn't like him. She just doesn't want to admit it either.
Okay. What she is a rabid partisan Democrat. Yes, there is a percentage of general voters that are that way. This woman has never, ever been a swing voter. She was never going to vote, even if there was the nicest little guy who came along, like Jeb Bush with his guacamole bowl, came along and fucking got the nomination. She would never vote for him.
Bush, I got to laugh because he makes me laugh. He's like.
Yeah. Well, he's funny, just in and of himself.
No, but I think that she's smarter than most because she's willing to accept both sides of the argument. A lot of times she did accuse me of being an anarchist, which I thought was hilarious because I don't know. For me, anarchy, I don't know. I'm 44. I have a almost 10-year-old daughter. I can't think about anarchy right now. Maybe when I was in my 20s. I think we're in a better place now than we've been in the last 40 years with as far as the transparency, and I'm not talking about honest transparency. I'm talking about the forced transparency that we're now seeing as a result of WikiLeaks and stuff like that.
Right.
We're seeing the media working in collusion with the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
And we're seeing, Donna Brazil, for crying out loud.
I know.
But back in the 60s, back in the days of say Eisenhower, Kennedy, things like that, it was an enormous wall between the public and the government.
Very true. Yeah.
And now we're seeing more, and it's bad. It's bad news. It's exactly what we feared. We feared all of this. We feared a lot of time. It's like what William Burroughs said. Paranoia is just getting all the facts.
I was ready to be done with the whole fucking thing, basically.
Wait, just to interrupt. What were you going to do? What would you have done?
I probably would have, at the beginning of this whole thing, I was going for Ted Cruz. No, I would have hung it up and just said that's it. I'm shutting off my radio. I'm shutting off all the politics, and I'm just gonna happily go about my life and not pay attention to any of this shit. Because if there wasn't going to be change now, then there's no point to this. Because if the Republican Party, which is at the current time, and of course these things change periodically from time to time, but at the current time, the only vehicle where there's going to be where anybody could possibly come up and make any kind of change is in the Republican Party. The Democrat Party is just too corrupt. The Republican Party is also corrupt, but there is at least a faction in the Republican Party that doesn't want to be, or at least maintains that facade.
But I wrote something here. I said I believe that liberalism in the nation has surged to the point of religion. I also believe that the same has occurred in the right-wing conservative circles. It's become a religion. Politics has become it. At least every 4 years, we have these words that are being thrown around like apologist, denier, surrogate, operative. They're calling Hillary supporters surrogates and Donald Trump supporters operatives. It's very strange use of language going on here.
This is nothing new.
I need to know. I'm sorry, but I need to know what these bastards are saying to each other. I'm a John McClane in this. I want to know what they're saying to each other. I need to know. So I look at all. We're going to talk. I do want to talk to you a little bit later on about alternative media sources that we've both been listening to. But first, I just wanted to mention the mainstream media, because this is the one that gets the most publicity. A lot. You generally don't find a lot of this stuff except on like a Fox Business Channel or something like that. But now I have to wonder, like, what's in it for people like Bill Maher, who personally detests Hillary Clinton. He does agree with Trump on a lot of issues.
And then there's
Samantha
Democrat.
Bee, who thinks that having a vagina somehow entitles you to be president and also to have your own late-night talk show. And then you have CNN and MSNBC backing Hillary, and it's only because her campaign has provided them with so much money in the form of advertisements. And are they aware that they might not have jobs if she's elected?
Are they aware that they won't if she's not?
The thing is, Donald Trump could keep them employed and in the money for years, just talking about his antics. I mean, he's like, he's very much, I would agree with Mar describing him as a cult of personality. He is, of course. He's Donald Trump. He's a pop culture guy.
Yeah, he is.
No,
he
I
is.
watched. Okay.
But it's not, it's not Donald Trump that Donald Trump supporters are really interested in electing. It's what Donald Trump stands for, which is something from outside the system, something that's that it's really for ending the corruption. This is largely what people are after. Is something this is it's.
Well, what do you think? Okay, what do you think a Democrat views Hillary Clinton as? A Democrat, not you. Not a Republican, not you.
Democrat? Okay.
What did they see Hillary as?
Views Hillary as a sort of a necessary evil that you vote for the party, kind of like the way we viewed, when I was voting for John McCain versus Obama to stop Obama. That was it's exactly the same thing, and that's why they're going to lose.
This is how I view Hillary. She is a middle-aged woman who doesn't know how to handle her fucking cell phones. She has this assistant who's constantly up her ass and is like waiting for something, who's in a lot of trouble right now, I might add, and also.
Saudi Arabia spy.
She doesn't understand. She's one of these people who buys a brand new cell phone, and if it doesn't work, she tells somebody to throw it away and get her another one. That's what I think. I don't think these people destroy their hard drives and they wind up getting a lot of trouble because there's a lot of emails going on around there.
Yeah,
and they're still finding more.
Yeah, no, she's a mess. She's an absolute mess.
And okay, now this is gonna get your your blood going here. I was watching Bill Maher last night. He point blank called Trump a sexual assaulting psychopath.
Republicans are trying to elect a sexually assaulting psychopath who is, if not a Russian agent, unwittingly working as one. And people in America are saying, well, it's better than Hillary. No, it's fucking not. We have to get a grip on reality.
And it wasn't in the spirit of humor. He was being serious when he said it. It wasn't like the time Trump tried to sue him for libel when Maher speculated Trump's father was an orangutan. I thought that was a real dick move on Trump's part. He should be aware of what humor is. But this was actual slander. You don't do that. He was, you can tell when a comedian is being serious and you can tell when they're telling a joke.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Bill Maher makes these statements, and also, but I do know that side of the aisle believes it. They do believe that he raped a 13-year-old girl. They actually seriously believe this. I was having a conversation with somebody.
I'm sure. Look,
no, it's called confirmation bias.
Whatever bad thing. Yeah, confirmation bias. Yeah,
it's whatever bad thing you're willing to believe it because you don't like the guy. Mm-hmm. So they could say anything they want to about Trump, and half of these voters in this country will believe it. At least half.
That's
if
right.
you say Donald Trump slapped a child on stage, if I see that on my Facebook feed, like something, I don't know, Daily Kos writes something, Trump slaps 3-year-old on stage, and there's nothing to back it up. People will be like, I knew it. I knew he was a baby slapper.
Well, there's a lot of stuff like that.
He's
and you
a
have
pussy
to
grabber,
be
even though
very
he never
careful.
said that. He never said a damn thing about grabbing pussies. He said that when you're famous, you can walk around and grab people's pussies. He says when you're famous. That's Eddie Murphy said the same thing in a stand-up routine a long time ago. He said women were throwing their pussy at me.
Well, yeah, and there are a number of, but you're absolutely right. And there's nothing about sexual assault of any kind on that tape at all. And it's foolish nonsense. And you know what? Most people agree with that.
Okay, can we talk about our favorite sources of alternative media?
Yeah.
So isn't it weird that we have an alternative media that goes against the grain of typical leftist liberal agenda? It's like this is cyclical. It comes down to whoever's in power, right? And then you have this surge of alternative media that's out there to provide a contrarian point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do, I listen to Gavin McInnes.
Yeah.
I enjoy him. I think he's funny, but I think he's also kind of disgusting on occasion. Also, he has some kind of crazy ideas about
women.
About women, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of freaks me out sometimes.
He says shit like, "Oh, women shouldn't be working. They should just be staying home and having babies all the time. I'm sure Heather would appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of that he's just saying just to overcorrect and try and get people to listen. And I get that. It's just that sometimes I think he takes it a little too far and he sounds like a troglodyte.
Yeah, sometimes. Both our wives work.
Yeah,
and they bring health insurance into this
and
house.
I don't have anything against that at all. I mean, I do I do have a lot against the social justice warrior, feminism that goes on in our colleges and in our society.
That's right.
But I don't. That doesn't mean just
remember the interview he did with the feminist.
I've seen a bunch of them.
Well, the one with the glasses and the weird hair and the yellow shirt, and who was
that was a good one. That was
I was watching a little bit of that before I got on with you tonight, and Bronwyn came in to grab something, and she was listening to some of what this feminist was saying, and this feminist was saying basically that the reason blacks and other minorities are racist is because we brainwashed them with our white supremacy.
Right.
And she was like, "What?" She's like, "Does this woman not know the definition of racism?"
No. Yeah, no,
it's like my wife's she's very practical and very smart, and that's why I married her and everything. But yeah, I like when Gavin stays on topic. I like when he's not afraid to say a lot of really nasty shit about a lot of politicians. Never mind Democrats. He usually keeps it. He's a Trump supporter. Obviously, he said he is, but he tends to go for both sides of the throats,
which is fine. There are.
I don't mind. I think they're both fucked. Seriously, both parties, Democrats and Republicans, are both.
They are
fucked out of their heads completely, and we know exactly why. It's because I said this veil has been lifted, and we're now seeing everything that confirmed our worst suspicions about politics. It's right there.
It is. They're all bought and paid for. Best that money can buy.
Now, have you heard Steven Crowder? Louder with Crowder.
Yeah, of course I've heard Steven Crowder. I like him. He's all right.
I like him a lot. Actually, I turned him on to Bronwyn. She thinks he's much better looking and much better built than Gavin. She seems to like his attitude and his approach.
I like his approach too, and he's much less of a bomb thrower than.
He's also less angry than Gavin.
Yeah, Gavin has
angry,
this really
and he
angry
dances
streak, which is kind
and
of uncomfortable.
He does these weird little skits. It's it's funny.
Yeah. He's a funny guy. He's been doing this for a long time, and he started out as a comedian and found this niche, and he's been ran with it, and he's been pretty successful with it. So I listen to him on occasion.
And okay, now the next one I think is Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, he's a never Trumper little faggot.
Never Trumper. Yeah, he calls himself that, but he is honest too. He's very much.
I don't like him.
I think he's very nebbishy, but he's also very.
I want to beat him up and take his lunch money.
Yeah, I like. Did you see his takedown of the Black Lives Matter people?
I have. I like Milo Yiannopoulos.
He shocked them into silence. He started. First, they were making fun of him because he's like a white guy. He's a little white guy with glasses or whatever, and he's saying it's about culture, and then he proceeds to actually scientifically break it down as to why it's about culture, and they suddenly got really quiet because they knew he was telling the truth. Now Milo, we can talk about Milo now. I like Milo too.
I like Milo. Milo is a little self-aggrandizing sometimes, but I do like Milo a lot. I love what he does. I love the purpose that he serves in how he antagonizes the left and the social justice warrior crowd. I think that the world desperately needs that. I think he does a great job with that. It's just that sometimes I think he lets all of his success go to his head a little bit, and he's a little bit
probably the gay
flamboyant.
The gay in him, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, he's gay, I mean, they're big into production,
Yeah, but I do love.
They don't have snazzy pop filters, but they're into production.
I always pay attention to Milo. I like him a lot. I read his writing. I listen to him.
The problem is
his little events.
It's hard to take him down. It's hard to beat him because he's gay. So he's considered part of a kind of downtrodden minority. So when he starts talking about how that fat chick in Ghostbusters is like, should never, number one, she should never take her clothes off. Number two, she's not funny. You're not funny. And then she can't take it. She's like this new wave of stand-up comedians who cannot take it, like Lena Dunham or Amy Schumer.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it's hard because you can't be like, oh, shit. Oh, man, he's not a straight white male. He's a gay white male. I can't talk to him. Ugh.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then that causes all kinds of problems for them, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point, and I think that's a great thing. It shows, I mean, really, that's the thing. If you really get to know the people, specifically in not Republicans in general, but the Trump movement that's outside of the Republican Party is extremely diverse with gay people, with black people,
Wait, where
Asians.
Does Milo, do you know where Milo stands on Trump?
Milo is 100% Trump. 100% has been for a long time.
Does it seem like a lot of people go for Trump because they don't want to go for Hillary?
Well, those are the main choices right now.
Well, you know how you say I vote not to. I don't vote for my favorite candidate. I vote to keep the other candidate out.
There are some of those. Well, here I can explain it to you. Right there's a large faction of people that are normally conservative or Republican leaning that are totally down with Trump. Then there's a bunch that aren't. Most of those people they're too socially conservative. I call them pearl clutchers. They're all like, oh my God, he said mean things. It's like, let me go support Mitt Romney, who doesn't say mean things but has his people do mean things for him. Because they can accept that, they just don't want to see it. So they're full of shit. But they're the ones who are voting against Hillary. They're voting for Trump to get rid of Hillary because they don't want Hillary. Like they see Hillary as the more evil. So they're voting for a candidate they don't particularly like, but they didn't support him in the primary. And some of them were never Trumper types for a while until they kind of went into the fold because they've seen that Trump has at least proved to most of them that he's down with their struggle just enough.
Okay, well, on the mainstream, well, not the mainstream, but on television, I also watch John Stossel and Kennedy. Do you guys watch? Do you watch any of that?
I haven't in a long time, but I used to like John Stossel. He's getting a little long in the tooth now. I like John Stossel a lot. He used to be on Fox for a while, and I don't watch Fox anymore.
His is actually, it's interesting. His is actually the highest rated program on the Fox Business Channel.
Oh, he's on Fox Business now. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Lou Dobbs too, but I don't.
I got Lou Dobbs down here. I like Lou Dobbs actually. He's not afraid to have a couple of principles of liberalism sprinkled in with his conservative rhetoric.
He's more what people like to call a populist, which means he's basically a common sense guy that doesn't fucking separate. He doesn't believe in any dogma that doesn't make any sense, which is fine. I mean, I have no problem with that at all. And also, when it comes to somebody like Trump, I don't need to agree with him 100% on every issue. It's the important issues that are important, not everything else.
Wait, just as a little side question, can I ask you? I don't know if I've asked you this before, but are there some issues for you that you kind of lean liberally about?
I'm liberal on police issues.
Okay.
Right? I'm very Fourth Amendment friendly, and that's not necessarily considered conservative. I'm very libertarian on social issues. That doesn't mean that I want to codify this. That means a different thing to different people. My version of libertarian is get the government out of it entirely.
Yeah.
There will be no forcing anyone to bake a cake.
That used to be the main argument. The central thesis of libertarianism was that limited government action.
Right. And that so.
But this is a problem with Stossel. I have an issue with Stossel. I do like him. I like what he has, a lot of what he has to say. But I feel that he and Kennedy and people like that, and Matt, who else? Matt Welch, they lean so far away from reality in their assumption that libertarianism will matter this year. It won't. Libertarian is this year's Ralph Nader. It's just a distraction.
Yeah, no, it's not. Well, also, the Libertarian Party has been. They keep nominating this loser who sucks. And
for crying out loud, Gary Johnson. Jesus.
Yeah. I'd also.
You know what he's trying to do? He's trying to get too late in the game. He's trying to pull off this kind of Trumpism stuff. Like he talked. Did you see the video where he falls out of his chair and pretends to have a heart attack because somebody said something about marijuana causing heart attacks?
No, I didn't. See
and
that.
Yeah, he falls out of his chair and he plays dead for a minute.
5 people watched that.
Well, I don't know. It made the press. You know what? He's trying to do these things to catch the camera now, and he really lost out.
He's playing yesterday's game. Donald Trump puts on
8 months ago's game is what he's playing.
He puts on a fucking rally in Keokuk, Iowa, like one of 5 rallies in a day, and 1 million people watch that shit. This guy is trying to get stuff from a bunch of networks that maybe 200,000 people will watch, maybe the whole day. I mean, come on, like nobody's watching that shit.
It's bad. It's bad. We need. What we need is, I think
I do want to add that I also lean liberal on the banks and certain what would be considered dogma-wise liberal on economic policies and trade.
We need somebody who takes the Libertarian Party in principle seriously. If there was something I was close enough to, it would be Libertarian.
Well, yeah, me too. And I think that
they need to get off this fixation about marijuana.
They need to get up. Yeah, they really. Well, they think that that's some sort of and of course that's going by the wayside. Yeah, they think that's a way in with the kids, but it's not going to work that way because it's going to get legalized anyway, and they're not going to be the ones responsible for it. It's already being done, and they have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I already mentioned this to you. 10 years from now, guarantee it. Red Book, $5 bet with you. Everything will be legalized. They're going to legalize every drug.
They will. No way.
I believe it. They're going to legalize heroin. They're going to legalize cocaine. They're going to legalize. They want.
I wish they would do that, but they're not going to do that.
The Democrats, as all of this comes out, it's going to keep coming out, and people are going to keep getting inundated with all this information coming out about the party.
Dude, our entire medical system is based on illegal drugs.
And legal.
It is.
I would say legal too.
That's how they make a monopoly for the pharmaceutical companies. It's through the illegal drug laws. There's no fucking way they're going to do that. They're owned by these people.
No, they're going to figure out a way to make money. That's what I think is going to happen. Look at Colorado's economy; it surged as a result of legalizing marijuana.
Look at Washington State; they did the same thing. And seriously, it's less expensive to buy it black market on the street than it is to buy it legally at the store. Well, they tax that shit too much.
Okay, now another thing. This I thought was interesting. Now, there's a person that I used to hate, absolutely hate, until I realized there was a game going on here. There was a game. It's like watching World Series Game 7.
Please don't say Ann Coulter.
Yes, Ann Coulter. I developed more of an appreciation
for
Ann Coulter. I seriously did, because she makes more sense. She wrote a book.
Wow, she wrote
a book about, she's voting for Trump. She's totally supporting him. And the thing is, I now that I listen to her, instead, I'm listening. Okay, this is the difference, I think, is that when I saw Ann Coulter initially, she was on liberal media. So they had her out to be a boogeyman and a dog and all kinds of stuff. And then I started watching her on more of these, as I call them, alternative media sources. And now she's actually getting her message across. I will say that I'm hypnotically entranced by people like Maria Bartiromo because she's so freaking hot. And
Maria Bartiromo is pretty fucking hot. I'll get it.
Yeah, and then there's Kristen Soltis Anderson. I love her. I just love looking at her face.
I don't know who that is.
She's very pretty. Very pretty girl. Look her up. Kristen Soltis Anderson. Soltis. Even my wife was like looking at her.
Okay.
And she wow, she's pretty.
What does she have, Fox Business or something?
No, she's like a conservative pundit, and she wrote a book called The Selfie Generation, which is actually pretty good.
Oh, okay, cool.
She's one of this new crop of young Republicans, and it's
That's
weird.
nice.
It's weird how we're now seeing this because we've had 8 years of Obama, we've had 8 years of a Democratic Party administration kind of thing, and now you have a younger group of conservatives coming out there, and they're very photogenic and very friendly, and they really want to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's like it's not the party that it used to be. When we think about the Republican Party, what do we think about? We think about
stodgy old people, but that's really who the Democrats have become. Yeah,
that's what you think of when you think of a Republican. Is you think of Nixon. You don't even think of Reagan. Reagan is unusual because
he was.
I don't think that Reagan was an all the way Republican because he never really seemed to have been. He was always in support of He was a
Reagan, much like Trump, had to fight the Republican Party in order to lead the Republican Party. He had to fight it.
He started out as a Democrat. He was in the Screen Actors Guild. He supported unions. He was all this kind of stuff back when it mattered.
In order to get the nomination back in '76, I mean, he went through all kinds of hell in order to get that nomination in '76, and they beat him back. Yeah. And then in '80, he tried again, and they tried everything to stop him, and they were unable to. And unfortunately, he agreed because the never Trumpers of the time there forced him. They told him that they were going to knife him in the back and make sure that he couldn't win if he didn't take on a VP candidate that they agreed with. And so that was why we got George H.W. Cuntbag Bush.
That's his full Christian name, too.
As quiet as it's kept.
So, I mean, isn't it interesting how the tide turns?
Yeah.
That you have this newer, sexier, I think a newer, sexier Republican Party is coming. And it'll be here in a few years. I don't think it's here quite yet.
The Republican, no, I don't want to say the Republican Party, because the Republican Party, as it's been known, is dying.
Jennifer Granholm, whom we all know as the former governor of the poisoned state of Michigan. Yeah. All right, this is what she said last night. There is no doubt if Trump were elected, our nation would plummet into the embrace of dark authoritarianism. And she sounds completely serious when she says this. She believes this. This seems like a psychotic belief. It's not a lie. I'm not going to call it a lie, because the media and the press, this is another important issue. They don't seem to understand the nature of a lie. You can't call something a lie just because you don't believe it. For me, a lie is when a child steals a cookie from a cookie jar and tells his parents he didn't do it. That's a lie. Now, if Jenny from the block there believes this, she has to be deranged. I think that these people have truly become paranoid. They've revealed themselves to be paranoid, as has the right. I believe the right has revealed itself to be paranoid as well.
Can I give you a little bit of a perspective to somebody
hang on. I got one more thing here. You can tell me that. Tell me that in a second. Sure. Hang on. Now, Bill Maher's impassioned plea last night to young people, he said, this is going to be different. This shit just got real. Why are they so frightened? I ask you the question. Why are they so frightened?
Because an outsider getting in there. Look, our elections have been basically fixed for the last 100 years, with the exception of Reagan, who they neutralized and kept their thumb on. Donald Trump has done this on his own against both parties. If he is to get in there and hold the levers of power, he has the power to end all of their little games that are enriching themselves and ripping off the country. The entire machine that is the Democrats, Republicans, the uniparty, as I like to call it, all of that is jeopardized. All of the globalism, there is trillions of dollars at stake, ripping us off, taking our jobs, taking our natural resource, buying our natural resources from elsewhere, making stupid laws that we can't use our own, doing all kinds of ridiculous things that are cutting down our own ability to be self-sufficient and making us rely on other countries for things. All over the place. Donald Trump means possibly. I do not promise anything from Donald Trump because I don't know. I can't look to the future and say this is definitely going to happen. But I can tell you.
Did you remember my comments? I kept saying
these people see it that way. They see him as an existential threat to their existence. That is why.
Well, yeah.
Like, she's absolutely right, though, from her point of view, Jennifer Granholm. Like, it means the fucking end of the world. It's Armageddon. It's total end of her world, which is good for all of us.
Who is Huma Abedin? What do we know about Hillary Clinton's #1 aide and sidekick for 20 years? This presidential election decides who gets to run the most powerful country on earth, so it is obviously very important to understand the facts about Huma Abedin, as she may very soon become Chief of Staff in the White House. All of this information and more is available online for anyone who has access to Google. Huma was born in the USA. Then when she was 2 years old, her family moved to Saudi Arabia. They lived in Saudi Arabia for 16 years. Huma returned to the USA when she was 18 to study at George Washington University. Only after 2 years in the country, she became an intern for Hillary Clinton, and soon after started working full-time. Also in 1996, Huma was working at her family business, a journal by the Institute of Muslim Minority Affairs. The Aberdeen's family business is owned by the Muslim World League, Saudi Arabia's global organization that promotes violent Wahhabi Islam. They even share an office at 46 Goodge Street, London. Abdullah Omar Nassif is one of the founders of the Muslim World League and served as vice president of the Saudi Kingdom Shura Council. He created Huma's family business along with her father. He also funded Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, as did Saudi Arabia for many years. His organization was declared guilty of funding Al-Qaeda terrorism by the USA State Department. During the Holy Land Foundation trial in 2001, the FBI discovered that the Muslim Brotherhood gave over $12 million to Hamas, the terrorist organization. They also found the secret 18-page plan for the Muslim Brotherhood, which explains that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying Western civilization from within. This document is available online in full. One of the many listed organizations within the Muslim Brotherhood was the Muslim Students Association, which Huma was an executive board member on for 3 years. Only 2 years after Huma left, Anwar al-Awlaki, the Al-Qaeda member and preacher to 9/11 hijackers, became chaplain of the same Muslim Students Association that Huma was a part of. To make things worse, Huma's mother, Saliha Abadan, is a leading member of the Muslim Sisterhood, the women's division of the Muslim Brotherhood. All of these organizations share the same goal and tell us repeatedly in plain English. They want to destroy Western civilization and replace our laws with oppressive Sharia law like you see in Saudi Arabia.
You have a guy who is married to a beautiful woman, apparently fathers a child with her.
Yeah, right.
She completely has nothing but dislike for him. She is basically there to further her career and to get as close to Hillary Clinton as possible. Now, what are you going to do when you're in a situation like that? You're going to start taking your dick out, and you're going to start sending pictures to people.
But you should be sending them to 15-year-old girls. That's where shit goes awry.
They don't show ID, okay? All
nah,
right.
This
I didn't know she
him
looked like she was over 18.
15. Dude, she told him, and he's like, "I don't care.
15.
Fuck it, man. Let's do it.
Mr. Weiner,
I'll rip
I'm
your
15.
pussy up."
So what? You think my dick's brand new too? Yeah.
There's a lot of gaslighting going on with media polls. It's insane. The media is basically, they started out with an assumption at the beginning of this election that is absolutely insane. That Hillary Clinton would have more energy on the Democrat side than Obama did in 2008. And that's crazy.
No, I don't buy that either.
Yeah, so but that's the baseline by which many of these polls are done. So you have to really dig in these polls to see which ones are the ones that are realistic and which ones aren't. And and you know, when you see some of these things are right on, and some of them are just like wacko. Like Trump was never down by 12 points. That's insane. But that same poll where he was down by 12 points, he's now tied, right? And that's polling. That is polling for how many percentage points more? I think it's 4 percentage points more Democrats coming out than they did in 2008.
Usually everything I hear about polls is that they're bullshit. Like most polls are rigged to give you a certain set of numbers. Like you can use numbers to prove anything.
You can. Now I use polls for trends. Like I don't usually, like right now, like say New Mexico, right? I'm watching the polls in New Mexico. I've got some polls that say that Trump is leading. That I've got private ones that I've heard about from inside the campaign say Trump is up. I've got other ones that say that that Trump is not up, but those same polls are showing huge momentum over the past 2 weeks, moving towards Trump. So that to me indicates that the other ones may well be right as well.
I think Trump's going to take New Mexico. Absolutely. Hands down.
He's going to win the election. Because if he takes New Mexico, then he's winning a bunch of...
this is not what I heard. I heard of 3 states, denial, confusion, and loss. I mean, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Florida. And if Hillary takes any one of these states, it's in the bag for her. That's
not the case. All right, but look,
now I think Trump will get Ohio. I don't know about Pennsylvania, and Florida is very iffy. I'm not sure.
Can I explain? Oh, 1 sec. Okay, but you're talking apples and oranges here in terms of Pennsylvania has no place in that list. All right, but Pennsylvania is on my other list here. There is a path for him without Pennsylvania to win. Pennsylvania has been a blue state since '88. It's not it's not typically a flippable state. It's a very blue state.
That's why I don't think he's going to get it. I think he'll get Ohio.
He's got Ohio. That's for sure from the early voting. It's obvious. He's got Ohio. North Carolina. He's got Florida. Florida, the Republicans are way up in Florida over 2012. And the early voting shows you that if you know what to look at. So now Pennsylvania, I do believe he's going to get. We've got polls that have been moving swiftly towards him. The last poll that was out on Friday that I saw, he was tied. And things are moving really fast in his direction. I'm also watching where his campaign is going, where they're doing advertising, and they're focusing on her states, on blue states. They're focusing on Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota, which is fucking unheard of.
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan.
Michigan for Hillary?
Well, Michigan is a very blue state, but I also think that there is a strong possibility that may flip to Trump this time.
Okay.
Because this is the Rust Belt. It's been destroyed.
Well, doesn't Michigan always seems to come up as a swing state in every election?
No, it really doesn't. Actually.
No, I think it does. I've heard it's always about Michigan. Somehow it comes down to Michigan because of everything that's gone terribly wrong for those people over there.
McCain pulled out of Michigan way early. Trump is in Michigan. He wasn't in Michigan until late. It's a different ball game. Now, Michigan has been a reliably blue state. Yes, there have been a couple in the last 2 elections. They've talked about, yes, maybe a Republican can win here. But it hasn't happened. It hasn't materialized. And there was no reason for those people to vote for a regular Republican. But a Republican who comes in excoriating both sides for fucking around with losing all of their jobs, for outsourcing everything, for coming in there telling those people that if Ford decides to move their factory to fucking Mexico, he's going to tax the shit out of them and stop them from doing it. Yeah. Like those people they want to hear that, right? Michael Moore is absolutely right. That's like music to their ears. They've been waiting for somebody to say those words. And that's why I think that he has a strong shot of winning all of these Rust Belt states.
It's a little bit strange that Michael Moore, his message was not vote for Trump, but he wound up, for some reason, galvanizing the crowd to do it.
He really did. I mean, he made one of the best cases for Trump.
He actually did, yeah. It's strange. It's really strange.
like somebody cut it into an ad.
It's like, this is not what I wanted. No, I didn't want this.
He was actually pissed. He's like, I'm trying to be, I'm making a movie against Trump. Like, well, you know what, dude? You did what you did, But I do think that these Rust Belt states, I see a scenario where my prediction, what I really think is going to happen, is that he's going to turn Pennsylvania and Michigan. I think that is going to happen. I think he's going to end up with over 300 electoral votes. It's not going to be a landslide. It's only going to be like a 5 to 6 point win nationally, and 10 points is technically a landslide, but it'll be an electoral landslide.
Well, if that actually
considering
happens,
what we're used to,
then you're going to have to get ready for the onslaught.
Oh, yeah.
Which is going to be, oh, my God, we're going to be plunged into dark authoritarian. There's a couple of things I disagree with Trump about. I don't like his approach with the press. Suing people and all that stuff, threatening to sue, trying to block certain things about free speech. Hillary does it too. She believes the same exact thing. They all do. But he actually said it. He verbalized it. And the thing is, it's a problem. This is a problem.
You know what?
I agree.
I don't know whether that's a bad idea or a good idea. On the surface, to
I agree.
Me,
you shouldn't
like
say shit like he's a sexually assaulting psychopath. That's fucking libel. Okay,
yeah, but they're doing that. But they're doing that.
But it's a skittish definition. It's a slippery slope, because then it becomes precedent, and then you can use it to block other forms of speech, and they do this in law.
I agree with you.
That's why it's dangerous. That's why Trump needs to get more of a skin and say, "Hey, fuck you, all right? You want to say whatever you want about. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Fuck you."
Well, he's fine. He gets by just fine. But a regular candidate will get killed by this shit, and that's really the problem. Like these media people can take out anybody that they fucking feel like anytime, and they're doing it with dishonest ways. Now, how do we stop that? I don't know. One of the things that I would like to see him do, rather than this libel thing, is to break up the 6 companies that are running all of our media. That needs to be done.
That'd be interesting.
And he said that he wants to do that. In terms of opening up libel laws, I mean, I don't know. I know he did say that. But how can he did.
He says what he wants. This is the issue I have with politicians.
He can't do that on his own. He can't do that on his own.
There's a lot they want to do and they never are able to do.
Yes, and to me that's a secondary issue. That's not his primary. That's not on the level of build a wall. Or stop our trade deals and get out of TPP and change NAFTA. Those are core goals that he has. That fucking around with libel laws is like a secondary thing. And at the end of the day, look, I will oppose him when I think he's wrong, and I won't.
Well, he has reason to be pissed off, but he shouldn't make it personal. I mean, like the press had been talking about him for years before he became a presidential candidate. We lived in New York all that time. We read he was on the cover of the fucking Daily News every other day.
Yeah, but and I'm fine with them being hard on him. What I want from the press is for them to be just as hard on the other side, and I want them to be honest. And they haven't done that.
Agree.
They haven't done that, and to me, I mean, I don't know what to do about it. At the end of the day, I think some of these people should be punished somehow. Some of the reporting has been so dishonest. Like seriously, take Trump out of the equation. Look what they did with a George Zimmerman tape. Somebody should be in jail for that.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is not funny.
Well, what I would do...
When you edit the tape to make it sound like the guy's racist and ruin his life and create riots and things where people die, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
What I would do is I wouldn't go for the reporter specifically or even the newspapers or the media itself. What I would do is follow the money. I would make every piece of money, every bit of it, publicly available to be seen. I would have disclosures.
That's what I'd like to do with politics in general.
I want to see where that money's going, because where that money goes is where the power goes.
Right.
Money is power. Once you do that, once you expose the trail of money that goes from politicians, from parties, to media sources, then you'll be able to get
That's an
I
interesting
think we're headed
idea.
toward that.
That's an interesting idea. I like that.
If you expose it, the media will say, "Oh shit, we better back off," and then it would lead to better things, maybe less money being funneled in.
Yeah.
And make the media accountable. It will make the media accountable overnight if you start doing that. If you start exposing this shit.
That's a very interesting approach. I think.
Look at what they're doing. Look at how they panicked, and they said, the whole Pedestra said it was him. It was Donald Brazil. People like that. It wasn't the Russians. These people were like, oh, this is the Russians, man. They want to undermine our election. We made a joke about that.
Yeah, I know.
It's not the Russians.
No, it has nothing to do with the Russians.
And
even if it was the Russians, it's not the Russians.
Julian Assange is a hero.
Yeah,
for
me
doing
too.
that. As is Snowden.
Yeah, me too. And that's why I disagree with Trump on that issue too. I disagree with him on a number of privacy issues. Too bad.
All right, so this is a rundown of what people fear will come from a Trump presidency. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, God.
Fascism. Kind of already have that.
Yeah,
Both
we
sides
already are.
Call each other fascists.
I'm sorry, but everything that he's representing, if you just listen to one of his speeches, for Christ's sake, he represents the opposite of that.
Yeah,
it's foolishness. Fascism is what we have now. Fascism is the system he's trying to run against. Anyway,
right.
But go on.
Repeal of abortion. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Never. I
don't think it's ever going to happen either. You could appoint the most conservative Supreme Court. I don't think it's
definitely. Yeah, there would be wars. There would be fighting. There would be all. Okay, non-Americans and undesirables, quote unquote, deported by the millions. I don't think that's going to happen either.
No, I don't think so either. I do think that they'll deport illegal aliens, but it won't be like a deportation force like people are saying. It'll be quite simple
for you.
It'll be quite
for
simple.
Something crazy? I have a crazy idea.
What?
How about instead of walls, we open the borders? How about instead of walls, we open the borders, we create
Why?
a 51st
They're already
state
open.
and call it Mexico. Because then, they get the best of us, we get the best of them, we get to share it, we get extra land, we have more to do, more people mixing together, less of the border or something. I know you probably think it's crazy.
You start negotiating with them about that, and while me and Trump are building the wall, you work on that, and if you're successful,
I got his number. What is his name? Carlos? I got his number.
Yeah.
It's on my thing.
You know Carlos too? All right, cool.
Well, it's 457-177-332.
Well, you work on that, and me and Trump will build the wall.
Well, think about it. While you're building your wall, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this work? Why are we doing so much? Why don't we open this up? And then it becomes a non-issue. It becomes a non-issue. Maybe we can.
I don't want
police Mexico.
Mexico, thank you very much. I don't want. I don't. Mexico needs to fix Mexico. Mexico needs to stop exporting its people that it can't deal with because of its fascism that it can't take care of here to our country.
Well, that's why we take over. We send a governor over there. What's that guy's name? Bill Richardson. Country. We'll send him over there.
They need to go back there. They need to fix their country. They need to stop the oligarchs who are running their country from running the country into the ground instead of coming here and making our country like theirs.
Okay, but I don't think that's going to happen, though.
It's already happened. Well, you don't think that's going to happen? It will happen. It's already happening. What do you think they want? What do you think they want all the illegal aliens for? That's what they want to do. They want to import a new voter base that'll be more amenable to what our politicians in the Uniparty want to do, which is whatever they want. Right. So they bring it, which is what's gone on down in Mexico. They have a group of there's like everybody's a peasant except for the oligarchs.
Yeah, and the drug kingpins.
Exactly.
Well, we saw.
And so basically, our government is trying to create that same system here for their own enrichment.
I'm just going to say what I think is going to happen, which is nothing. I mean, I don't really. I think there's so much put in place to block any kind of real progress in this country. If I must get metaphysical, what do you think?
Well, there is, and I think some of that's by design. Most of that's by design. I think that's great. Part of our problem is that we've circumvented a lot of that so that we can get things done, and we've gotten the wrong things done. But yeah, I think that a lot of the change will be psychological. I think that Trump is a guy. I mean, he sleeps 4 hours a day and he gets a ton of shit done. Like if he'll get shit done. It's So
was he one of the original financiers of the borrower then? I mean, seriously, pass the cocaine over here.
But he's a power of positive thinking guy. He never would have been like, we could do it for $2 million. No, we can't. Get rid of it. We can't do it. Like he never would have done that. He'd been like, of course you could do it for $2 million. You could do it for $500,000, I bet.
Yeah. I would say that the liberal mindset has really gone off the rails over the last 3 or 4 days. They don't know what to make of what all of this is going on with Hillary.
They've gone desperate. After the email revelation, it really changed the tenor of the election because previously it was all a referendum on Trump. And this really turned the tables. Really, it's kind of turned it into a referendum on Hillary to a large extent. Not completely, but to for a lot of people. Not for everyone, of course. And it really demoralized them, which is what the media has been trying to do to Trump supporters for months now, is to demoralize Trump supporters so that they hopefully stay home. Now, they tried this with Brexit, and it didn't work with them, and I don't believe it's going to work here. They've been telling the Democrats that they're way ahead when they're not. And that may come back to bite them because I think they're going to have a real turnout problem. I think they already do.
There was a really nasty hit piece on Trump and on a website called rawstory.com, and some people were writing in support of Trump, and then this one person, nasty girl Julia, I had to cut and paste this because I knew they were going to take it off.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, fuck off, Trumpanzee. I'm sure you've got a baby to rape somewhere." This is what people are doing now. They are writing horrible things. You know, the thing is, you may disagree with people and everything.
Yeah.
But, calling names and then insinuating that they've got babies to rape, this is unconscionable. This is something, I can't believe that people behave this way. I really can't. I always thought that in a room of 5 people, I would be the most immature person. but I never am. People always tend to improve on me, and I tend to get called names quite a bit.
Sometimes it amazes me, but it doesn't. Honestly, at the end of the day, that kind of stuff, like it's bad, but it's just an indication of our society's coarsened quite a bit, which is really kind of why, even though a lot of people don't want to admit it, Donald Trump is actually really, the way he acts and everything, he's about where we are in terms of our like he makes sense. For us, we've coarsened quite a bit. We're not the same country that we were 25 years ago.
That's the problem. If you're willing to listen, he makes sense. But if you are going to, oh my God, don't even talk to me about Donald Trump. It's just like a lot of my Facebook friends who are, middle-aged women, I want to say, or women around my age or something like that, they vote too. And what's more, it's been nothing but anti-Trump coming from them.
They were never going to vote for any Republican ever, you see. And if you notice, you'll see a common thread amongst those women that I find. All right, all of them, they repeat the same talking points that they would run against, like Jeb Bush, like they apply to Trump at all.
Or Cruz or something like that.
Yeah, they pretend that like Trump is every Republican who ever ran in the past. That's like their tell. Like because Trump has nothing to do with any of those people or any of those issues, and and then they all they all try and pretend that he was sexually assaulting people, and it's utter nonsense.
Well, yeah, it's all part of that confirmation.
They were never swing voters. I mean, there's only a percentage of the people like that when you're there's only a small percentage of the people that actually are open-minded on either way. And these people are not those people. They were always in the tank for Hillary from the start.
Oh, speaking of swing, now that you brought it up, one last thing. Yeah. Who's going to take New York?
She'll take it, but he'll make it a little closer than it usually is.
Okay, and now what about your state?
My state? Oh, Trump will take it in a landslide by 10, 12 points.
Okay.
Maybe more.
Now, what about like California and Texas? Those are the higher.
Texas, he'll win by 20 points. California, I would say, well, Texas, he'll win by 18 to 25 points. That's my prediction. California, he'll lose, no doubt about it. But again, he may make it closer than any other Republican ever has, if whatever. And now, but ones to watch that are like holy crap. Like this would be like holy grail time of like the electoral map. Watch Oregon and Washington. Like those, you may see a flip up there. The demographics go the right way. Oregon, I've seen polls where he's down 6. I don't know if I trust those polls, but that was a few months ago at like his worst time. And I know some people that live there who would hate it if he won there, and it would just be so cool. Now that certainly is not on my map of predictions, but it's a slim possibility. If I was gonna, there was a shocking like state that he won, I think Oregon might be the one.
Well, I after hearing that, I'd hate for you to have to hear my prediction. I mean, this is sort of like it's not something I want, but I really do seriously think it's gonna be a landslide for Hillary. I really do, because she's getting way more positive media exposure than he is, and people are sheep, and they tend to do that. I mean, it's really kind of up to the choice. Mm-hmm. You go into the booth, you're kind of by yourself, and you can say you vote for anybody in the world. And I think elections still matter as far as on the local level. I think local is where you get more work done. I think maybe there's more progress on the local level. Like, you're going to be voting on a bunch of stuff in South Carolina in addition to this on November 8th. You're going to be voting for representatives. You're going to be voting for Congress. I think you've got a couple of. I think you have a couple of referendums on your bill. I'm not sure. I know in a couple other states, including New York, we have a couple of important things. I just, it's. I always wonder if you could just vote for that and leave everything else alone.
No,
like if you want to legalize marijuana in California, go in there and vote for it, and then just leave.
You can do that. There's nothing stopping you. I mean, I wouldn't. If I was going to leave anything blank, I'd go in there and vote for Trump and leave everybody else blank. All of those guys can go fuck themselves. They're all a bunch of corrupt scumbags.
Well,
but I'm giving my income. Of course I can. But I'm giving them, and I've actually written them to tell them this, that I'm giving them one last shot.
Did you get a response?
I did, actually.
Yeah, was it like a form letter or thank you, Andrew, for your candor.
It was like
fuck you. You can't do anything about it. Fuck you and kiss my. No, sorry.
Actually, no. I did get a personal response from my congressman that said thank you for the thoughtful letter, and we'll keep it in mind. I forgot what they said, but it was like something. It wasn't bad. It was just a quick response. We'll keep in mind and fuck you. Fuck you on the inside.
Kiss my ass.
Yeah. Kiss my ass. Fuck you and kiss my ass.
All right, let's wrap it up. This has been a very special episode of BlissVille, number 83.
So, are we betting on this election?
Oh, Jesus, no.
No?
Can't. Well,
you said she's going to win in a fucking landslide, man. Landslide.
Shit. I mean, yeah, I believe it, yeah. But I could also, the thing is,
I don't know how you could think that really looking at the numbers, but okay.
The thing is, I can believe that she could win in a landslide, but I also believe that maybe Trump could tip it over. But I also think that this is going to be heavily contested, and I think there's going to be some Supreme Court involvement again. That's what I think. I think both sides. The Democrats are saying, "Oh, Trump is not going to accept the outcome of this election." You know what? Neither the fuck is Hillary, and they're both going to fight this shit if it gets down to little numbers.
Yeah, but that's a rare occurrence. Well,
it happened once. It happened a few times.
Well, it's happened more than once, but it doesn't happen that often. I don't think it's in the cards here. I don't see it that way. I look at the way the early voting has gone, and no matter what spin some of these people put it on, the Democrats are way fucked from the way they were in 2012.
This is the one thing I think is positive on your side.
Yeah.
Is that the people that are very serious about voting this year are voting for Trump.
Yes, I know. And
I think the people
turnout,
that are
all about.
passive and sitting on their couches, smoking weed and crying, are the ones who are going to vote for Hillary. If they can get up off the couch.
If they get up off the couch. And you know what? They don't like Hillary very much. So I don't know how many of them are going to get up. And I tell you, man, she hasn't been behaving. Look, winning campaigns behave in certain ways. They have a certain aura about them.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any of that. None of it, and it's total. It's strange to look at the dichotomy between the way the media portrays her campaign and how well she's doing, and the reality of it. Nobody turns out to see her. Nobody like Tim Kaine does a rally and 20 people show up.
Tim Kaine.
Yeah, Tim Kaine.
You know what? He's so
possibly the worst.
He's another guy. Can I tell you?
In the history of the country.
Tim Kaine is another guy like Anthony Weiner. He's so depressing. He looks like he's got the glazed over look of a man who had a vasectomy. And he is completely neutered. And that's the problem with Anthony Weiner, too. Anthony Weiner, he's a guy who, with a healthy sexual appetite, now he's in sex rehab, which is hilarious. That's I don't think that's true.
No, I think he's in protective custody.
Custody, sexual rehab.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Anthony, we're going to sit you in this chair. We're going to watch you every 5 minutes.
It's like they gave him a female FBI agent to abuse or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a guy who thought he had it all and didn't. And he, I guess he's like a porn guy. I think he likes porn or something. And they say porn destroys marriages more. But, your wife is like spending more time with this woman. He just doesn't care. He's gonna keep sending pictures of his penis. I'm gonna get one in a minute. I think I'm getting one. It's coming right through the mail. I gotta say,
keep it to yourself, man. I don't want.
He's not bad. I'm gonna leave it at that. He's not bad.
What, penis or what?
He's I think he actually, ironically, he's uncut. He's about 10 inches. He's got a nice bell head, as they say. All right.
Anthony Weiner really not circumcised?
You know what? We just started that rumor right now. That's right up there with that Congressman Nadler being a Nazi and Rosie O'Donnell eating babies.
All right, we've gone way anti-Semitic on this show, apparently. I don't know where that came from.
An anti-Rosie O'Donnell. BlissVille, I don't know when BlissVille will be back. I'm in the middle of doing a bunch of different things. I've got the Twilight Zone podcast. I'm working on a Star Trek podcast, and I'm working on a Charles Manson podcast for BlissVille at some point. I don't know. But we also have Extreme Cinema, and there's a million different venues for which you can catch me and Andrew's witty repartee, as it were.
Yes. Yeah. It's wonderful, isn't it?
Good night.
You have one old message. Monday, 2:02 p.m. From First Lady Michelle Obama.
In this election, we're deciding who will shape the future for our children, not just until the next election, but for the rest of their lives. We've achieved so much together these past 8 years, and now it's up to us to elect Democrats who share our values and will protect and build on all the progress we've made. So on Tuesday, November 8th, be sure to vote for the leaders our kids deserve and the country we want to leave for them.
People of the Democratic National Committee 223 8,000 authorized candidate or candidate committee. End of messages.
What the hell was that?
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. And I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats. And they're coming to take me